Our world is dominated by fossil fuels. They make our electricity, heat our homes, power our cars, and are changing our climate. But what if there were no fossil fuels, no coal, no petroleum, and no natural gas? One thing's for sure, the Earth would be a far, far different place. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to Futureality. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get new updates about technology and development. Hit the like button to show your support, and in today's video, we're going to discuss how will the world be when gas runs out in the future. So without any further ado, let's begin. Electric cars are growing quickly in popularity. This is leading many people to question what will happen to the millions of gas stations when electric vehicles, EVs, become the majority. Let's start with the idea that a world without gas stations is incredibly unlikely anytime in the next 50 years. Gas stations will always be around in some sense, particularly in small towns without large retail markets. Towns which are significantly less likely to have many electric cars roaming through them. The vast majority of these small towns are farming communities, heavily reliant on their fuel sources. In other words, Farmer Brown from small-town Wisconsin isn't going to be using an EV to head into town to get gas for his tractor. Even with increasing growth and acceptance for electric vehicles in the world, fuel will still remain a much-needed product for many individuals, which will ensure that gas stations stick around for a while. Fossil fuels are non-renewable resources. They formed millions of years ago. The Earth's heat, the pressure, and the movement of the layers decompose plants and animals, turning them into petroleum, oil, coal, and natural gas. The deeper we dig, the more likely it is to find natural gas and oil resources. The global demand has not reached its peak yet. Year by year, global energy consumption is getting higher, therefore the use of fossil fuels is getting higher too. We simply don't have enough renewable energy to supply our industries and population's full demand. A full decarbonization of the electricity system by 2050 is possible for lower system costs than today based on available technology, said Christian Breyer, who heads a team of international researchers at Lappeenranta University of Technology, LUT in Finland. Breyer and his team looked at data from all over the world, such as energy consumption, demographic development, and weather. They also analyzed which technologies are expected to be the cheapest in the next 3 decades. Energy transition is no longer a question of technical feasibility or economic viability, but of political will, Breyer added. Breyer's team and NGO Energy Watch Group EWG presented their findings at COP23 in Bonn. The final chapters of The Bone Clocks, David Mitchell's 2014 novel, described a future in which progress has gone into reverse. In 2043, the fossil fuel age is over. Nuclear power stations are melting down. There is no access to the electricity grid, and solar panels are so prized that they're looted. Catastrophic climate change has become a reality. Rising sea levels have caused floods on the New York City subway, killing thousands. Internet coverage is patchy, food and consumer goods are scarce, and life-saving drugs such as insulin are hard to come by. It's a dystopian vision that looks like a brutal, dangerous version of the past, one not at all like the future that was promised when the Cold War ended with victory for the Western capitalist model. If it comes to pass, it will be because despite all the warnings, climate change has not been taken seriously enough. Here's one such warning. For generations, we've assumed that the efforts of mankind would leave the fundamental equilibrium of the world's systems and atmosphere stable. But it's possible that with all these enormous changes, populations, agricultural use of fossil fuels concentrated into such a short period of time, we have unwittingly begun a massive experiment with the system of this planet itself. That was Margaret Thatcher in a speech to Britain's scientific elite in 1988. Thatcher was no climate change denier. She told the Royal Society that her government supported the idea of sustainable economic development and concluded stable prosperity can be achieved throughout the world, provided the environment is nurtured and safeguarded. Protecting this balance of nature is therefore one of the greatest challenges of the late 20th century. Gas stations will exist in much the same way as convenience stores do now, by selling a wide variety of random goods that save the consumer a trip to a larger retailer. No one wants to pull into Walmart just to grab a gallon of milk on the way home from work, but they'll swing into that gas station on the corner to run in, run out, and be back on the road in their electric car. Gas stations will be the perfect little market to quickly grab groceries, a cup of coffee, snacks, or other products without having to find parking, walk a mile to a large retailer, and stand in line to make the purchase. People are fed up with that system. We are on-the-go nation, largely depending on gas stations to keep consumers moving with ease, success, and free of hassle. Not only will gas stations be invaluable to smaller and larger communities in much the same way as convenience stores, but the legalization of THC, a chemical compound found in cannabis, may spark some waves too. Gas stations may be the perfect option to sell THC-based products rather than only selling through a dispensary. In much the same way that you can visit a convenience store to pick up CBD products, in the future, you may be able to pop into your nearest local gas station for THC products as well. This would depend on each state. However, a majority of existing gas stations are already in the early phases of learning how to adapt to the new electric vehicle technology. They're asking questions about what they need to do to install electric vehicle charging stations, how to service both fuel-based and electric cars, and looking into consumers' growing needs. The gas station retailers and the world of electric vehicles are both separately evolving and learning how to work together. It's essential that gas station retailers learn how to evolve through this process to ensure proper growth in the future. Gas stations don't have to become obsolete retailers. If they can effectively learn to adapt, they'll ultimately succeed in the long run. Gas stations can ultimately thrive in a society largely run on electricity. Natural gas is the most eco-friendly fossil fuel. We consider it as a bridge between non-renewable and renewable sources of energy. The problem is that fossil fuels formed millions of years ago, so waiting for new fossil fuels to form is not an option. With our rising demand, our reserves will be empty soon. Formed millions of years ago, yet only used for around 200 years, fossil fuel reserves are emptying very quickly. It's also obvious that the exact date of running out of these fuels remains unknown. It's because we continue to discover new reserves. However, the number of new reserves is low. They cannot meet our population's needs with the current and expected future levels of usage. Former Saudi oil minister Sheikh Ahmed Zahi Yamani said, "The Stone Age came to an end not for lack of stones, and the oil age will end, but not for lack of oil." Other sources estimate that we'll run out of fossil fuels much earlier. For example, oil deposits will be gone by 2052. We don't just have to reduce our consumption of fossil fuels and switch to green energy because we run out of supplies, but also because coal and oil are harming our environment badly. Renewables only provide 5% of our energy needs, while nuclear energy supports our demand with 4% of energy. Nuclear power plants are also safe sources of energy. The problem is the storing of nuclear waste. The world is more likely to take the green way instead of the nuclear way. If it comes to pass, it will be because despite all the warnings, climate change has not been taken seriously enough. Here's one such warning. For generations, we've assumed that the efforts of mankind would leave the fundamental equilibrium of the world's systems and atmosphere stable. But it's possible that with all these enormous changes, populations, agricultural use of fossil fuels concentrated into such a short period of time, we have unwittingly begun a massive experiment with the system of this planet itself. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now, and there are a few more fun videos coming soon. I'll see you in the next video.